We are talking about real estate investing for 2025 tonight. We're talking about getting involved, getting yourself ready to jumpstart your career for 2025. What are we doing differently and what are we looking at? And what is the perspective that we need to have when we're looking to buy a piece of real estate, right? So tonight, we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be looking at what do I look at that's a little bit different when we go to buy real estate? And I want to make sure you guys understand exactly what to do. So when we're looking at houses, things are different now. You can't be looking at things the same way you did back in 2023 and 2024. There's a lot of things that are different that I'm going to go over tonight. I want to make sure you understand. And I want my friend Dan to make sure that you understand too. How are we approaching things? What do we look for? So you look for a property that you're going to buy. There's just some things in the background that you got to look for, and that I want to make sure you understand. What's going on, Dan?
Man, just making it happen.
Welcome to the club. Just making it happen. Thanks for coming on with me, my brother.
Yeah, man. Sorry it's late. I was just having dinner with the family.
Welcome to the we all getting it in. So it is Christmas time, and I'm gonna put a number here. You guys can call in to be on the channel 757-204-1332. 757-204-1332. Get your questions answered. We're gonna go. I'm gonna talk to Dan about one thing that's on my mind right now is inventory. Not everywhere, but inventory. Bluetooth on. Roadcaster Pro. Call in, get your questions answered. Then I'm gonna pull up the screen. So I was looking at a house. It's always a lesson to be learned. I mean, there's so many lessons to teach people, right? If you have multiple properties in the same area that's for sale, and we're looking at making an offer. In the past, I want people to understand, so check this out. We got a property. We're looking to make an offer on a property, right? Let's just say it's right here in these areas here. We got one listed for 195. These are identical properties. One listed for 200. Identical properties. So I want everybody to look at this area here. They're identical properties, and we're going to buy the same one, right? They're selling for 200, 195. If you have two already listed on the MLS, 2 years ago, we would think that the property value would be going up. But if you already have one listed for 200 and another one listed for 195, you need to be extremely concerned to think if your complete reno is going to sell for 195 or 200 when you already got properties on the market that are listed for those prices.
Well, that's also depending, right?
Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
So I would, we normally then would click on those properties and look at what the pictures look like on the inside on Zillow.
Well, I did a little research before we came, so I kind of know what they look like. But
What the audience doesn't, let's show them.
Okay, cool. Let's do it. I just want people not to get. Dan, don't you hate it when you get a call, somebody's trapped in a deal? I mean, it just doesn't feel good, man.
Right.
Let's look at the picture. So this is one here. It is going to need a new roof. I can see that up there too. That roof's done.
Yeah.
But inside's immaculate. I mean, it doesn't need anything. Wow, you ever did that, Dan? Towel on the side?
That's bullshit work, man.
Yeah. You've been drinking, man. No, I know it's holiday.
No, man, it's just I hate when I see work. That's like,
what can we do on a Saturday? What can we do?
Normally, you see that on a granite counter where they have what they call a waterfall over.
Yeah,
the granite over it on the side,
what
and
is
it makes
this?
it look like a waterfall. But that's like,
what is that, Dan?
I don't know. Can you blow up the picture?
Nah, I can't bring it up, nigga. That's nasty. But they tried though.
Yeah, I mean,
for the sake of this, they got towel all the way down. I'm not mad at towel all the way through.
No, I don't either. That looks like it's porcelain tile too.
It's either porcelain or ceramic.
Yeah. So,
that doesn't need much though.
This is good work. This house doesn't need. I mean, other than power washing on the outside, some landscaping, and the roof.
Yeah, it don't need much.
That doesn't need anything. So now you
Get
know
out of
that's
here.
the price.
Well, I already looked at it all. I just let me look at the
Yeah,
other
but
one
the
too.
audience doesn't, right?
That's
The
true.
audience, please give it. Give us your
Let's see.
questions, right? You could call in and ask your questions. And Chris, go back for the people that just came on. Why are we looking at this? Tell them.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, you. Hey Dan, did you send me your link to IG?
Um, I did not, but I can do it
You
now. Just
can. Yeah, you
explain to
can.
the audience why we're doing this.
So tonight we're just talking about investing for 2025. What do you need to do? What do you need to look at? What needs to happen? And just something. Here's what happened to me, y'all, in 2008. Right, I started loaning money to people to do deals because I had such a success from '04 to 2007. It was just crazy. And then I started loaning money to people, right? And then the market just completely, the bottom fell out, right? I thought really real estate couldn't go down for whatever reason. So I started loaning out money, and then value started to just creep down. And if I knew then what I knew now, I should have looked at how many houses were for sale in that area when the guys I was loaning money to were doing the flips. Because no doubt they were in the same boat as me, Dan. They were trying to just get bailed, do a flip. So I'm like, now I know if you got 2 or 3 houses, it was three. One might have went pending. If you got 3 houses, identical townhouses in the same block, all listed for 195 to 200, how the hell you think you're gonna go in? Because our name of game is speed and volume. We can't compete with a homeowner. They can wait a year or whatever. We can't do that. We just can't do that. We have to get so in 2020, 2021, 2022, if we saw a sold for 200, shit, we were pushing 205, 210.
Right. You're not going to do that now.
I want to make sure we understand. Dan, you got to know this stuff, dog. You have to
Explain
know this.
explain to them why we wouldn't do that now.
Because the thing is, markets, they move, they're alive. They're bigger than they're bigger than Dan Borrero, they're bigger than Kris Haskins. The market is just bigger than us. So when you see people got houses for sale already that are not moving, how in the hell do you think you're going to come in and move something when the existing inventory ain't even moving? So that means we have to kind of be a little conservative on our sales price, y'all, right? That means you might have to cut it down 10,000. You might have to cut it down 15,000 to get that thing moved. Because we got cost of the money, we got interest going, we got taxes, we got insurance. All this stuff is cranking out for us. And all of this is dollar in, dollar out. Let me know when you sent that, Dan, so I can put it in.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's speed of return, You can't sit on a house. That's right. Low ball season, cash flowing. Not necessarily saying it's low ball time, but you need to just be conservative with your numbers. I know Dan has seen it. You've been around longer than me. I see dudes buy a house, dude, and then next thing you know, they're making nothing. They're making nothing.
Sometimes they're lucky if they're making anything after they pay off the hard money.
The lender.
I see so many people literally make less money than the hard money lender when times are good, let alone when times are bad.
Wow. You saying a lot. You're right. The hard money lender is going to make his money. The lender always gets paid. That's why we want to be in the money game. But for tonight's conversation, I just want to, as I'm showing this thing to y'all. Oops, sorry about that. We'll look at the other one. Let's look at the second one. It's in good shape. This thing don't need nothing. They got nice fresh paint on the wall. Flooring looks good. This is active. Oh, wow. Look at that fan, Dan. Oh, man, that's sweet. That's an expensive fan right there, bro.
I just sent it to you, the link.
Oh, okay. That's an expensive fan right there.
I mean, those pictures look good, too. So, it appears they have vinyl down on even upstairs, which is good.
Yeah. I'm not mad at it.
Yeah. And apparently, these kitchens look like contractor grades if you look at the previous picture and this picture. So these are the original kitchen counter. Well, this is original kitchen counters. You can tell that. And cabinets. So, yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to really dress up that other property, that next townhouse. I mean, to compete. If you want to, let's say you wanted to sell it at 195, you're gonna have to come in with granite counters, the
Mm.
6-inch floor moldings, the 5 3/4 inch crown moldings, maybe some more recessed lighting, things of that sort. Change the doors to 2-panel doors instead of 6-panel doors. Um, you want to dress it up a little bit, right? Get rid of all the rugs, maybe go with hardwood floors where the rugs are at upstairs in the bedrooms. So, but then at that point, what if you're going to put all this money in to compete at that price point with these other two homes? That would mean you're going to have to significantly reduce your offer price because of the work you're going to have to put into it to compete.
You talking about when you buy, Dan?
Yes.
So look, these are two. Here they are, y'all. One and two. One and two. They're identical units. One's for 195, one's for 200. So this is just something I was looking at recently to buy in this area.
So what would you? Let's assume the property's in decent shape, Chris. Tell the audience because I'm sure it's a question they'd have. What is Kris Haskins looking to offer on a property if it's in decent shape in that
Yeah.
area?
Okay, I'll tell you now. So I made the offer. I already made the offer in this area of 130. Now we figured it was going to take about 10 to bring it back to life, and then we get 20 in fees, so we'd be in it for 150, and then we pull out 25 to 30 in profit. It was only 30 in it. That was all we had.
Yeah,
Because
that's not enough room.
it's not enough. Well, I was going to take a subject too, so I was going to give her. We were going to give down payment. We were going to just take over the monthly mortgage payments.
So that's a different argument. So because Chris is doing it subject to, it's not a bad deal. But for someone to come in like myself who does, as a fix and flip, I wouldn't touch it because the same way I could make 25, 30,000 is as easy as I could lose it.
That's true. Tell them how though, Dan.
What they call the might as well is like I'm doing this, I might as well do that. And then on top of that, you don't know what you're gonna find once you start opening or breaking. So, just as easy as it is to make it, it's just as easy to lose that when the profit margins are that small. On top of that, what's happening, we're like Chris and I. Chris, let's tell them when you and I look at deals, we're looking at not just the property, but what's happening around us, meaning the things we can't control, right? So interest rates just dropped another quarter. The
That's
Federal
insane.
Reserve just dropped the interest rates a quarter of a point, but yet the mortgage rates went up,
I'm not understanding that, Dan.
right? So we can't, if the mortgage rates continue to go up, the prices of homes come down.
Yeah.
So when, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, if that property sold for 205, we were like, man, in 3 months it's going to be selling for 230. So we don't care. We don't move quick because every day we're holding it. It's going up in value. Why? Because the interest rates were so low.
Yep.
And this is, if you don't mind, well,
Go ahead, Dan.
let's talk about this a little bit, Chris. You know, I was at a wedding yesterday, last night, and there was a few young people asking me questions.
About real estate?
Yes, and I was like, one of them was like, they were like, well, we can't wait for Trump to come in because interest rates are going to go down, and that way, young people like us, we could afford to buy a house.
Lord have mercy.
And I'm like, you understand when interest rates come down, the price of houses go up. So, are you going to be able to afford the new price of the property? Right? Because the reality is this, guys: interest rates come down, price of homes go up.
Yep.
Interest rates go up, price of homes come down.
I don't think they understand that, dog.
Well, in my case, I love to buy property when interest rates shit. I hope interest rates go past 2 digits
Go up, right?
because then I come in bang. Kris Haskins and I, we buying property dirt cheap at that point because not especially people who bought property with variable loans, they can't afford the higher interest rates, right?
Nope.
Dan Borrero and Kris Haskins, we're their saviors. We're buying those properties up, right? Now, when the interest rates come down, if we need money, we could always go back and refinance them at a lower rate. But we bought it at the lower price. We didn't pay the higher price when interest rates were high. So I bought a whole lot less properties when interest rates were low versus when interest rates were high, because there's more opportunity when interest rates are high for people, for real estate investors.
I love it when they're high. I love it. I get to borrow money from other people, and people are willing to loan you money. So here we go, Dan. We got September 6.2, December 22nd today, 6.86.
Yep. So think about that. Interest rates went down last week a quarter of a point, and the rates are up almost a half a point higher
Let's
in
see,
general.
refinance. Yeah. I don't think people get it because I don't get it. I try not to watch them fools, dude. And I get pissed off when I think about the debt. I try to explain to my daughter about the government shutdown and they're raising the debt ceiling. I'm like, they are destroying our country and they're destroying our dollar. Dan, what do you think about that, brother?
I got to tell you the truth, Chris. I haven't watched news or listened to news in 3 days, and I know that sounds crazy coming from Dan Borrero because you know how diligent I am with that. But did they rate? Did it pass to raise the debt
Past
ceiling?
today. Only reason I know because my wife is a government employee, so they got all this stuff that they talk about.
So, what can you please explain to the audience why raising the debt ceiling is not good for our economy?
It's just the worst thing. And I think about all I can vision is these white dudes in suits. No disrespect to them, man. Everybody watching. I just imagine them going home to their families, getting their paycheck, regardless if they perform or not. That's just what burns me up. Whether it gets passed or not, they still chilling. It's so weird. If I don't perform, I'm on the street. I'm starving. Right. I keep telling my wife, I'm like, look, dude, this is not a waste time game for me. I can't waste time. If we have to move out of our house if I don't waste time. So raising the debt ceiling is like having a credit card, y'all. You got a credit card with a $10,000 limit on it, and then next year you run it up to 10,000, and then you say, no, I just raise it. I'll raise my limit to 20,000. Whatever. Now you go 20,000. Then next year you raise it to 30,000, and you keep borrowing and borrowing and borrowing in perpetuity. I can't even comprehend it, Dan.
So, they're paying interest on that loan, and I want the
We're paying.
audience to
I'm
understand, and this
paying. I'm paying it.
we're all paying, and
Yeah,
I want the audience to understand
about the
that
interest.
the more money we owe as a government, as a people, the harder it is to get inflation rate under control.
The
To
harder it is,
accept, press
Dan.
1. To
One
send a
second, I got a
voicemail.
caller. Caller, state your name. You're on here, the line with Dan Borrero and Kris Haskins. State your name and where you're calling from, please.
This is Chris calling from Northern Virginia.
How are you, Chris?
Merry Christmas,
Chris
brother Chris.
calling from Northern Virginia.
Merry Christmas, my brother. Who we got in the background? Who's that talking to us in the background? Sound like a daughter or a son or somebody.
Oh, my kids. Let me get out that room because they probably gonna cause a distraction.
It's all good. Who is it? Tell us who you got. You got 3-year-old, 4-year-old?
I got a 13, 6, 4, and 2.
13, that's 4.
Yo, you about to have a crazy Christmas, dog. Chris, how can we help you, man? Tell us how we can help you. What you got going on, brother? What you cooking up?
I'm over
What's your
here
plan with
trying
Chris
to
and Dan?
How you doing? I'm over here was wondering. I got an investor that is selling some properties in Southern Virginia in an area called Danville, Virginia.
Yeah, Danville. I know Danville. Ain't nothing there.
Well, they just opened up a casino, and it's supposed to be a hot market.
Everybody's saying this casino. I'm hearing this. Everybody's calling me all day about this stupid casino. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's a hot market. I mean, I know a lot of guys that invest over there, and they've been doing quite well for the past 5 years, like really, really well.
Buying low and
But
selling high, or buying low and holding?
I've got a couple of guys that are buying, holding, renting, flipping, doing everything.
Okay.
Anything you name, they're doing. Actually, there's a lot of folks getting into the commercial side and kind of jumping on the bandwagon of it being a comeback city.
For the people that don't understand Danville, tell them what's going on real quick, Kris.
Well, it used to be, from what I know, it used to be a tobacco industry making, anywhere from cigarettes, what have you. And then the market over 20 years kind of crippled the city. And then all of a sudden they're getting a regentrification, and and they're supposed to be the comeback city in Virginia. So maybe 3-4 years ago, they were announced to get the Caesars Casino, which just kind of opened up, if I'm not mistaken, last week. And there's a resurgence with the senator, governor of Virginia, throwing a lot of projects, and they've got a real resurgence of coming back, like really getting back on the map in Virginia. And from what I've noticed, a lot of the violence with safety and stuff has been a major concern, that they've got up to par with the police, and they're not trying to screw up the fact that they got the casino coming.
Yeah, no doubt. So what you thinking, brother?
So I wanted to find out what you guys think. I got an investor that's trying to sell me a couple of properties. It's the first time that I'd be buying some properties that are turnkey. I was willing to buy about 3 of them from them. Each one costing from 90 all the way to 130. And usually, as you know, it's better to buy the properties down and out and fixing them up and then renting them or flipping them. But I wanted to find out if the numbers make sense. Are you guys opposed from, buying properties turnkey and, figuring out paying cash and on the back end, maybe doing a BRRRR system, I don't know, 3 to 6 months out?
Go ahead, Dan.
Are they single family homes?
Single family, yes.
Are you looking to do rent to own?
I didn't think about that. I was just looking at just renting them, but that I don't oppose to doing a rent to own also.
Yeah, I'm not a single family advocate. I like single families for fix and flip. Single families, the reality is that when you have a vacancy in a single family home, you got 100% vacancy rate. Versus where if you have a 4 family, you have a vacant apartment, you only have 25% vacancy rate. In addition, when you're dealing with 1 family houses, even though in the lease it'll most likely say in your leases that the tenant's responsible to cut the grass, maintain shovel the sidewalk and prevent the snow or whatever that is. Most tenants don't do it very efficiently. And I experienced when I used to do single family homes, I'd get code violations. So, now if you're going to do it like Kris does, where you do rent to own and they're 100% responsible for everything, including the roof, from inside and out, because they got to treat it as if they own it, then I would consider it. Otherwise, I would just look at it as a fix and flip. But if you're buying it from an investor that has 3 homes, and that investor obviously knows what you know, so it sounds to me like they must have a problem or they're tired of investing.
Yeah, why they sell on them, Kris?
That's the question, because
are they financing
they're
them?
Getting into that's what I was planning on doing. I'm looking at trying to get the money and figure it out. I think it's a good deal.
The seller's financing them to you? They gonna finance it to you?
The investors is good. Well, I'm not sure. I haven't really, because it was the holidays, I haven't really figured out, where I was going to get the financing from.
All right, Kris, what you're Kris as well. So when I say I'm Kris, I'm not.
Call me Haskins.
Okay. You know, the one thing you don't say to a person like Mr. Haskins or myself ever is, well, because it's the holidays.
Yeah, I'm like, shit. That's
You
the.
know, who gives a shit? It's the holidays. That's the
I'm
time.
like, I was thinking the same thing. I'm
That's
like,
the
man,
time for us
shit.
to
I
make
get a
money.
more.
Because it's the holidays. Why you
Well,
That's
I'm
why
sorry,
I
I won't
went
tell
to it.
them. I'm just because I'm on the call. I know.
You got
Sorry,
4 kids,
let me
man.
change that up.
Yo, it's like,
Yeah, you're right.
You
You're
got
right.
4
I got
kids.
4 kids. So
because it's the
I got the.
holidays. I
I'm
want
gonna
the
get the
audience.
financing.
Okay, so I want the audience to understand this. We ain't trying to be mean, but
We
because
love you, dog.
it's the
You know we
holidays,
got love
right,
for
you
you.
got to come in like a bull because everybody and their mother,
Yeah.
the fake real estate investors or the people that are fat with their pockets fat already, they ain't hungry no more, right? Those guys, yeah, they're doing exactly what you just said. Because it's the holidays, I'll go back to work in January, mid-January. Now, people like Chris and I, where we're hungry and we're rich, but
I
we
was
still
like,
hungry, we want to get richer,
I'm
right?
on this deal.
We on that deal like red on like white on rice, right? We
All right.
you know when someone tells me it's the holiday, I don't give a shit. It's the holiday. Ask me if I care. What does that mean? Because nobody
When,
works, nobody wants to make money. Banks are open. As far as banks, if the banks are open, I'm
All right, Dan. Okay, Dan. I think you got the picture, Dan. Chris, you're gonna be on
no,
top of this as soon as possible.
I'm as hungry. I'm as hungry as Dan is. So I apologize for saying that. And listen, a closed mouth don't get fed, but I want all the food. So it
I
don't
love
matter if it's
now we
whatever
talk.
day it is. Every day is the same day.
Now we talk.
Is he gonna finance? Is he
But
financing them, or you don't know?
no, he's not. He's not financing.
Okay.
I'm just gonna get a loan for the entire amount. You know, get a mortgage. Get either. I'm probably what I was thinking of doing was getting a loan for the entire amount because I feel like I could do a cash out eventually and get my money back out that way.
Okay, so you're saying
Um,
let's give
but
let's do this. Let's talk numbers. What's the total portfolio that he said? The total amount of all three houses. What's the total amount of all three houses?
270.
270. If you sold those houses off individually in the condition they're currently in with the tenants they're in, how much would you get?
The two 120, 140. I
That's
say
260.
about anywhere about 350.
That's tight. That's tight.
Numbers
You
are
got
tight.
transaction fees. You got 20,000 in transaction fees.
You got more than
Each
that in
one.
transaction fees at three properties. That's three recorded deeds, three recorded notes and mortgages.
I'm talking about realtor fees. All this stuff adds up. You're talking about 20 a piece. That's real tight.
Yeah, numbers
Yeah,
are tight.
no, it's no realtor fee because he's coming direct to
I'm
me.
talking
No,
about
there's
when
no
you
realtor.
sell them.
When you sell it.
I ain't worried about him. I'm worried about you.
Well, I was gonna keep it and do a cash out, but what you mentioned, I didn't even think of. The owner finance is a good like what interest rates do you usually do on your owner finance?
With him or when you selling them?
When I'm selling them.
Yeah, if I were to look at any of this stuff, I would buy them and sell them the same day. In fact, I would have them sold before I even bought them. I'm like, shit, I wouldn't. I don't want to be a landlord. I like collecting checks. Landlords
Well,
don't get to collect checks all the time. Well, I want to be a
I don't
landlord.
know how I could do.
All right, guys, let's just
How
get
can I
something
do
straight.
that
Chris
if
Haskins
I don't
doesn't
have
like
it
being
under
a
my
Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, okay. So you don't. What was the rate like? I know you said you sell it the same day, but I don't know how to sell it the same day if I haven't bought the property yet. But I think I
We'll
get
get to
it.
that another
You know
day.
what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Just get
The
in,
way
get
I
out
normally
quickly.
do it when I'm seller financing, depending what the deal is and depending on the person who's getting it. So if I have to take a risk with that person, either because I'm not gonna get I'm not gonna give it to someone who has judgments against them. But let's say their credit scores are slightly below 700. I'm going to go a point and a half to a point and three quarters above whatever the market rate is. So if the market's at 7, I'm going to be charging like between 8.25 and 8.5, maybe 8.75. Now you may say, wow, that sounds high, Dan. Why would you do that, right? And who would buy it from you? And I said, well, what you have to look at is what the APR is, right? Because if the market's at 7%, after you figure in all the costs to get that money, because there's a cost of applying for that money and actually closing on that money, whether it be underwriter fees, appraisal, and everything else that comes with that, right? That APR is no longer 7%, and you're looking at 7.25, 7.3%, right? Now you want my money, you want me now to become the bank. I'm going to make it real easy, but there's a value for that easy, and that's where I'm getting that extra point for myself, 1.5, right? So there are people that will pay it. I myself have paid it. Kris has paid it, especially when we started, right? When you go to a hard money lender, they're charging you, 11%. Why are you getting 11% when you go to the bank and get 8? That's because the money's hard to get. That's why it's called hard money. And there's a value for them to give you that money that's hard to get, right? That's that 3-point spread for them, right? So when I'm doing the seller financing, there's a convenience for it, and I want to get paid for that convenience. There's a value to that convenience.
Got it.
Kris,
Got it.
What do you mean?
Well, let me ask y'all something.
Go ahead.
Because he said hard money. That maybe that might 11% on hard money for a couple of months might not be a bad option for me.
That ain't bad. That ain't bad at all.
Yeah, because but do you guys have or do y'all have like I haven't used a hard money lender, so I don't know if y'all have on your website of any hard monies to like get the funding.
I don't recommend hard. I don't recommend any hard money lenders because
you could just Google somebody.
Yeah.
I do have a company that'll does business credit lines, might help you. But I heard you say something about get your money back. What do you mean refinance? If you're borrowing money to buy it, what money are you talking about getting back?
I'd like to, because through the hard money, I'm thinking that it's going to be like an all cash transaction.
What you mean?
Obviously. Say that one more time.
What you mean, buddy? All cash?
Like through the hard money, I'm borrowing it from the hard money lender, but the title company, at the end of the day, I'm paying cash, and of course, I guess they'll have the lien on it. However, at some point, I wanted to do a cash out refi, the traditional way, and then I'm guessing that's how I could pull out the cash that I put in there.
Kris, let me ask you: the house you live in, do you own it or rent it?
Own it.
What's the value and how much principal do you owe on it?
It's probably at like 930. Probably owe about 400.
Oh.
So why don't you go take a home equity line?
Yeah, that's a good buy.
Which will cost you less money than going to the hard money lender.
It's free shit. What do you mean?
Yep. As long as you leave it open for 2 years, they won't even charge you closing costs. Most banks don't, at least.
Nope.
Then you take that money, you go buy those properties, and then you refinance the properties and pay back your home equity line back. Kris and I look at our home equity loans like they're bridge loans.
So I owe 400, but when I first started investing in Georgia, I borrowed I think I got like 150 out on the home equity. I think I owe maybe like 80,000 left.
Okay, so you already got
it. The value of the house jumped up so much since then, though.
Then refinance the home equity line.
You don't even got to refinance it; just get an increase. Go in that daggone bank, tell them you want an increase, bro.
Oh wow!
Yeah, say
really,
look, and don't even when you go in there. Listen, when you talk to these banks, keep a straight. Go right to the branch manager. Look, I got this. This is my tax returns. They're gonna want it. My house is worth this. I owe this. I'm looking to get this. Then just shut up. Just shut up.
Got it.
And you want a credit line increase. I want a credit line increase.
Yes. Yep. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Okay,
Forget
yeah,
hard
yeah.
money. Yeah, I
That's
wouldn't even
actually,
touch that shit, man. You're gonna get destroyed on
yeah.
that.
That I mean, there's no problem if I could do that because I thought I had to. I didn't even think of that, but that'll be really good because I can go in there. Yeah.
All
So
right. Hey, we
now,
got to keep
No,
moving,
thank
Chris.
you. That actually.
We got to take the next call. I got 20 people calling. So, Chris, we got to keep moving, man. Good talking to you, brother.
All right, thank you so much. Thank
Yes,
you
sir.
guys. I love what y'all do. By the way, I've been on Dan's call on Wednesdays before. Very helpful. I don't know if he remembers, but he
Dan's the
helped me
man.
out getting some tax properties too. So I just want to say I love what you guys do.
all right, Chris. So you've been on my mentorship, and you said to me, you didn't know better than to say you don't want to work on the holidays.
Dan, leave a man alone. He got 4 kids. He got a 2-year-old screaming at him. He got a 15. He got a get him man a break.
Yeah.
All right, Chris. Peace.
All right, I can't wait to see y'all one day in your New Year too. I'm
No
gonna pay to
doubt.
just come out and break bread with y'all one day. But I appreciate
Yeah.
everything y'all do. I listen to y'all every Sunday.
Thanks, Chris. All right.
Thank
Peace.
you.
All right.
Merry
Yeah,
Christmas.
have a
I love it when Dan breaks balls. Yo, call in. People want to call in. I can't take but one call at a time. I'm not like a fucking radio show where you can. I got a
Yeah,
secretary.
you cursing too.
I'm sorry.
I
I'm
think
not like.
that. You know what? I want the audience. I really, if the audience, how many people we have on here now?
We got 30, 40. I don't know how many's on your
If you
IG.
guys want to help us grow so that we could actually hire somebody to do this,
Yeah, this is free.
this work, right? Share this with everyone, please. Right now we're on Instagram. Share this with 5 or 10 people. Talk to your friends and family when you're at Christmas time. Yo,
Hold on 1 second, caller.
brothers online every single Sunday night giving it away all for free. So all you got to do is call in or watch, right? Share this with the people, please.
Caller, you're on the line with Mean Dan Borrero and Crazy Kris Haskins. Merry Christmas. Give me your name and where you calling from.
What up, Chris? What up, Dan? I've talked to Dan a few times before. He wouldn't know though, only through Instagram. My name's Pat. I'm from Connecticut.
Okay.
I'm a nationwide disposition manager for commercial real estate. But here's the problem I've been running into. I got into real estate 15 months ago.
Came on and was giving me a
No.
hard time about why people want to sell their
Nope.
property.
I don't think
No. I've been active in the chat for probably a year, a little bit. I really kind of, after I beat analysis paralysis, I kind of stopped going on YouTube. I'm not gonna lie, but no, I haven't had the chance to call in.
Right.
But what I wanted, but this is a question, man. I really only ask some of the greats like you or Dan. So here's the problem I'm running into. Perfected and taught myself the whole residential wholesaling thing. Did 7 deals. Understand now. For fun, I'm calling on market properties. I'm off market direct to seller, both in commercial first. And then if I ever do anything residential, normally that list pulling, scaling teams of cold callers. Been there, done that. But now I'm having fun with it. I'm offering super favorable seller side terms on market properties. And I'm getting, I submitted like 3 offers yesterday, and I know I'm getting 2 out of 3 back. And I'm just going to assign them for a quick like 10K. I mean, we're talking fucking no balloon on one, I don't think we're allowed to swear, but long story short, though, I love the commercial aspect more. Residential wholesaling, it's not real estate. It's a sales and marketing job. I want to get deeper into commercial, and the problem I notice is all these commercial wholesalers, they don't take it serious enough. They do 1 deal a year, and then they just do nothing for the rest of the year. So I need to know, do I license up to just fully focus on commercial, or do I try to stick? Do I try to take wholesaling commercial to the max without a license?
What were you gonna say, Chris?
That's a Dan Borrero question. I don't have any commercial.
So commercial is a different animal. And commercial,
sure.
in my opinion, not that I've ever tried it because I don't do wholesaling, but it's going to be a lot harder to convince sellers to allow you to do wholesaling on commercial deals, because people who own commercial property are a lot more sophisticated.
For sure. I got private money partners, but right now I got a 222 unit storage unit deal. I got LOI and proof of funds submitted. I got my buyer's 1031 exchange before end of year.
That's not, it has nothing to do with your question. Your question is in which direction you're going. So I'm just gonna, because there's other people.
Gotcha.
So that's a you question, and I'll explain to you why. With commercial deals, you and I, and I'm going to explain it to the audience that may not know. When you wholesaling or flipping commercial deals, or even representing commercial deals as a realtor, there's a whole lot more money involved because the numbers are a whole lot bigger, right? However, those are far and few in between. Whereas when you do
you got to be willing to go all year.
Right. When you're doing smaller buildings like 3, 4, 5 family buildings, you can have a lot of those in your pipeline, right? But with commercial deals,
quicker capital.
Right. With commercial deals, they're slow to generate because there's a lot more involved to close that deal, right? Especially when you're not using your own money. Okay. So, me personally, what I would do if I was you is I would generate a whole lot of deals into my pipeline with the regular smaller stuff, and start working on the commercial stuff. So that way, by the time my pipeline starts slowing down with the smaller stuff, I've got some big commercial stuff on the pipeline. So it'll continue. My income will never go down. It actually goes up. So, but to do that, you got to be working, you got to be working both ends of that candle, and both ends of that candle are going to be lit. You're going to be working 7 days a week, 70 hours a week until you could get over the hump.
For sure. Yep. That's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing for I'd say about 12 months now. So I fully helped scale and automate 2 separate cold call teams for off-market direct to seller. And I stayed away from direct to agent stuff, but everyone's wondering, they're like, what are you going to do, man? They're like, you spend half the week.
I tell people all the time that direct to agent is not bad. 70% of what I close is direct to agent. 70%
direct to agent, commercial team. Direct to agent's great because that's multiple deals all the time. When you take the time to see, I have like a CSV file of maybe 15,000 agents with their contact info. I want to very politely text blast or email blast out just to touch base with them, let them know, hey, if you're low to no equity properties, I can help get those assigned sub 2. I can double close on them, whatever.
That's you're going in with the wrong,
go for the cash field too.
The wrong idea. See, I'm a direct agent, and you coming to me with that? I'm like, I don't need you.
Yeah. What do you think?
Bring me a buyer, a real buyer. I'm not looking to do any wholesaling stuff with you. I don't need it. So either you want to buy,
of course, yeah.
Simple. You're not gonna.
Okay.
Let me tell you something.
Bring buyers to agents. I can do that. That's easy.
This is my thing. This is what
we got to finish with
commercial agents. Commercial agents are prima donnas. Commercial agents don't even pick up the phone on the weekends.
Yeah, them fools, man. They extremely temperamental.
So you go to a commercial agent.
Oh yeah.
You send a commercial agent that text, you just got written off.
Oh yeah, it's stupid. I hate it.
Right?
I hate it. I like real people like you, 7 days a week. You guys are in it at all times. That's my type of people.
Like me, if I was an agent and I went into commercial, I'd be kicking everybody's ass because I'm picking up my phone at 12 o'clock at night if someone calls me.
You already know. Dan Borrero would kill it.
Right. They don't.
Oh yeah.
They're doing so many. They got so many deals and the numbers are so big. They're comfortable. People like Kris Haskins and I, we don't get comfortable. We're always hungry, no matter how fat our stomachs are.
Never that.
All right. Pat,
Awesome. Well, I'll let you guys get to the next one. It's been an honor. Thank you guys. I'll reach back out soon. Love you guys.
Peace.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
God bless.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Dan. That was a good one.
Yeah.
I got a question on IG. Can you
Yeah, what's the question on IG?
Can you Rizardolfo's, can you put an apartment in a land trust? Yes, you can. But make sure you do your own research on that. If anything you own, you can put in a land trust. PG12. Look at your IG too, Dan. See if you got questions. I got hard money, but that's not something many people recommend. You never recommend Oh, they want to know how come I don't recommend. Oh, they're saying you never recommend private lenders. That's right. We don't. A private money lender is somebody you have cultivated yourself. PG12MX. That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. My home equity line has been, the interest rate's been going down, 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 man. I'm happy.
You know what, man? I gotta be honest with you. I haven't even looked at my interest rate because I don't owe anything on it right now.
Well, they send you the letter still. They say the shit went from 8 to 7 and whatever. It's like, I don't know.
You know what? Probably I have. I haven't even looked at
Your
it.
wife opens the letter.
You know what? I don't care. Even if it went up, it don't matter to me.
It don't matter.
It will matter. I'm gonna go look at what the rate is before I go make an offer, so I know more or less what I'm gonna be paying in interest for the next 3 months, 4 months.
Mark, have you guys ever seller financed a duplex with tenants already in place in one part of the building? How would that work, Dan?
I don't finance. I do own a financing on land only. I don't do it on fixtures, whether it be buildings.
Why?
The reality is, I could make more money with that money than the interest you're gonna be paying me.
Yeah, but Dan, I still when I look at you, I'm learning it doesn't matter how much you make, and you know this shit. I mean, it's how you make them. How much time did it take you to make it? If it took you 1 hour a month to make $1,500 for the year, I mean,
so it all depends on part of the life you're in, right? So, as I get older and I'm getting closer to retirement, would I sell it on a financing? Yeah, probably, because let's say I get 30% down payment, right? I'm not going to do it for less than 30% down payment. That I can tell you right off the bat.
So 600,000, you getting 200,000.
Well, remember my deals are different. In New York, I don't have anything less than $2 million in value. So I'm going to
You're going to charge you guys 600 grand there.
But that's normal numbers for New York, right? We're talking about different numbers, man. So let's say they come in with 600,000. All right.
That's a no-brainer.
I didn't pay 600,000 for the building.
That's a no-brainer.
Right. So now I got back all my initial investment. Now I'm financing 1.4 million.
That's
right?
just stupid.
Now I'm good with it because I'm not out here hustling and bustling. I'm not out here, fixing and flipping. I'm on vacation. I'm getting a check every month, and I ain't got no tenant problems. That belongs. I'm the bank, right? Now, if you ask me that when I'm 40 years old, I'm like, no, I can't do that, because I could take that $2 million and I could flip that $2 million 4 times in that 1 year. I could take that $2 million and I'll have, after I flip that money 4 or 5 times, right, I'll have $4 million.
That's true.
So there's a cost. There's an opportunity.
But let me ask you, why does it have? This is straight talk. Why does it have to be or? Why can't it be and? Why can't you do both, Dan? That's why I just
do.
you're my man.
I want the audience to know I sell a lot of land and I hold it and I do the finance. That's how I convert land into cash flow. Okay.
So you do some.
Right, but that land is a very simple to take repossession.
Yeah, that's simple.
Versus when you have a house, for instance, and then all of a sudden the person who bought it from you that said they were going to use it as investment moves in, game off. Now it's going to take you a lot longer to foreclose on that property. If you're in New York, it can take you 5 to 7 years.
That's
right?
True.
I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. So it all depends what part of in my situation, what part of my life I'm in, and what I could do with that money. There's always a cost to that money.
There's always a cost.
Right. So if Warren Buffett went out and spent $100 million on a yacht, that means that yacht didn't just cost Warren Buffett $100 million. It cost them all the money it's going to cost them to maintain that yacht. Let's say it's another $10,000-$20,000 a month, minimal, right? Plus, it's costing him the money that he would have made with that money if he had invested it in the stock market. So that $100 million yacht is no longer $100 million. 5 years from now, it's $200 million, because he could have doubled that money if he had put it into the market the way he invests. So
let me throw this at you, Dan. Let me throw this at you, dude. And I'm not here to say, once again, I want everybody to know that we are coming with compassion and empathy, right? We're not saying y'all got to do none of this stuff.
No.
You don't got to do any of this stuff. And in fact, don't believe anything we say. Go do your own research. We're not giving you any advice. It's just for informational purposes, Dan.
Correct.
We get empathy. But Dan, here's my thing. When I buy a house and I sell it, financing, I've got a lot of credit on that house. Say it's 100 grand, whatever. I'm selling for 120. I already got the 100 back from a private lender that has a deed of trust on the house, so I can use the money at any time. So I'm not saying that either one of us is right, but what are your thoughts on that?
Let's let the audience know the way Kris does real estate and the way Dan Borrero does real estate is two different ways. And there's no right or wrong way to this. It's what works best for you. Right? So what Kris does, I don't do. And what I do, Kris doesn't do. Right? Yeah. You know, like I just spent $18,500 on scaffolding.
Wow.
On protective scaffolding. Before we started the work on the exterior of the building. Kris doesn't have to do that where he's at. Right? So again, guys, it's all depend. Everyone's got their own niche. Everyone's born with different risk tolerance. Everyone's got different financial responsibilities. You know, some people don't have any kids and ain't married. They could take more risk. But when you have kids and you're married and everything, you got other people that are dependent upon you to eat. Your risk your risk tolerance is a lot less.
It's right? different.
Everybody's in a different situation. I'm just explaining how I look upon it versus Kris looks upon it differently because he's in a different situation.
So tell me about what you think about my little thing. What I've done, I borrow against the property that's already sold.
I don't have.
So I buy the house for 100, right? Say I bought for 100. I'm selling it for 120, 130. I've already put a line of credit with Joe around the corner. He's loaning me the 100 back on the line. It's his retirement.
I don't have a problem with that because I know Kris Haskins, and what Kris Haskins took that 100,000. Kris Haskins didn't go on vacation with that 100,000. Kris Haskins didn't put a new kitchen in his house. Kris Haskins took that money and invested it somewhere else and made another 20. So instead of 20, he's making 40. Right? So I don't have a problem with that. But Kris, that's a skill set. Like you said, it's a muscle that you've been working for how many years that you've been learning how to master.
That's true.
Right? Not everybody's in that situation. Most people are learning how to master that skill set. Some people are learning how to make that muscle bigger.
Well, I pray. I want to be a beacon of light, you know, a shimmer of hope, right? I'm like, this is what I do, right? I have I have lines of credit with humans. I don't think people even understand that shit. I have lines of credit with human beings, y'all. I have $150,000 line with a guy, right? And I send him an email, he wires me the money, he don't think about it. And it's not even him, it's his retirement account. So I just want people to know that this stuff is out there. That's why I say it, Dan. I'm not saying that I'm not, neither one of us are bigger, better. Call in, get your questions, y'all.
Audience, we're not advocating for you all to do the business the way each one of us do it. What we're here for is to provide information. We tell you how we do it.
Possibilities.
And if you choose to do it that way, go for it. If you don't,
possibilities.
Not a problem.
Hey, Lars on Shantae, how do we handle a tenant who's a hoarder? That's Dan. Dan, hold up, Dan. The PG version, okay? Before you start talking this mess, you start give him the PG version, please.
See, Kris,
call up with your questions.
Kris knows how angry I get when it comes to questions about hoarding tenants. And I'm going to take a deep breath before I answer. When you're dealing with a tenant with any problem, whether it be hoarding, noise complaints, they're smoking in the apartment, it's affecting the health of other people, whatever that is, you need to approach it in a matter knowing that everything you say, everything you do, everything you write, everything you communicate will come back and be proved, will either provide proof for your tenant in court or provide proof for you for your argument in court. So, what I do is with hoarders is I don't talk to them. I communicate only in writing, and I will not communicate anyone with
I love it
with verbal communications. Even if they call me, I'm not talking to them.
Nothing to talk about.
Writing, right?
Nothing to talk about.
Right. We want to document the story for when we get to court, and we're assuming we're going to court. I never assume I'm not, right? So I want to document the story so that when we go to court, you only have a couple of minutes in front of that judge to get your story across. and whoever says the best story is the one that wins. And what says the best story is the documentation. And I don't do texting. You want to communicate with me, it's going to be email or certified return receipt. If your emails become abusive, disrespectful, my leases say everything certified return receipt communication. That's what we revert to, right? So, and when you're communicating not that you're the big bad landlord. You're communicating, hey, listen, your behavior is not only endangering the lives to the people, to yourself, because hoarding is a dangerous situation, but it's also endangering the lives of first responders that have come in the event of an emergency. It's also causing rat and mice and roach infestations, not only to you, which is unhealthy for where you're living in your space, but it's also unhealthy to everyone else in the property, the other tenants, right? And then I've gone so far as to call the health department on my own building, and the buildings department and the fire department, and got violations. So now when I take action, I'm not taking action because I'm the big bad landlord. I'm taking action because I've been violated as a result of your actions. So now I don't have a choice but to take action.
I love that.
So now when we go to court, I have a story, a documented story.
I love it. Good one. Good one. Okay, that was a good one, y'all. Yeah, call the city on your own self. I've done that too. Look, water ain't on over there. Darling, hey Dale, Dan, what are you looking for when you buy land?
Darlene, how are you? What am I looking for when I buy land? I want to make sure that, one, it's got road access. Two, it's not in a flood zone.
Hold up, Dan. Let people know exactly what kind of land this is, because my mind, I'm thinking land. I'm thinking of buildable lots in the city somewhere. So tell them what kind of land it is.
Well, it depends, right? So there's what they call infill lots, where it's in between houses, so you have road access, right? But in a lot of rural areas, they'll show you plat maps. If you go online, there's a lot of schmucks out there trying to sell you. They think that you think you're buying gold, and what you buying is a white elephant. So there's no road access, right? Or you may have to get an easement from the neighbor who does have road access because it's behind his property, right?
Oh no, you don't want to do that.
Yeah. And I see a lot of people make that mistake when they're buying property off of auctions and things like that. So, you want road access. You want to make sure you have access to utilities. You want to make sure it's not wetlands, not flood zones. We teach all this in my mentorship class. We even teach you how to go onto county websites and look at the GIS map, and it'll show you, if it's flood zone or wetlands. If it'll even give you aerials, how many houses are around it. It'll show you if there's electrical wiring and phone wiring and cable. It'll show you how far you are from the road. We teach all this in my mentorship class. And you go to danielborrerojr.com. You could sign up there. It's free every Wednesday. Actually, Kris has been on a few times teaching.
Good question, Dale. All right, y'all. We got a few more minutes and we're out of here. This is the last call before Christmas. We got one more call of the year. We're here to help you guys. Things are changing. And another thing I want y'all to look at, please, 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 when you're buying these houses, y'all, I get calls, emails every day. I bought a house and whatever happened. You must look at market times. You must look at DOM, y'all. Days. Somebody got a question there?
No, I'm looking now.
Days on market, y'all. Now I'm telling y'all this stuff. This is what I have learned, y'all, since 2004. I'm not saying this stuff. I'm not making this stuff up. I have bought houses. You see the sold price 200, 250. You think I'm good, and then you go buy it and you put it up there. You list yours for 245. 3 months go by, and then you look at the comp that you thought you had. 90, 120, 170 days on the market before it had an offer. You're screwed.
Done.
You're screwed.
Done.
You must look at DOM. Somebody put in the chat DOM. I want to show you getting it. Dan, can you tell them a little bit about your experience?
Look, the reality is this: when I'm doing a fix and flip in a market where it's not increasing like it used to be, like every month it was going up, let's say 0.2%, 0.02%, let's say. What would happen is, if the average house is selling within 120 days at 200, I want to bring that property to market at 185. So I'm cutting everybody's throat on the market.
You're done.
And you know what? 185 is the best. 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 185 everyone's gonna hate me because now I become the new comp when I sell it. But not to sound like a schmuck, but I don't care because I'm out of that market, right?
You're out of it.
Right? I'm looking to make my money quick, right? So when you're in a market where properties are staying on the market longer, you have to provide either one of two things or a combination of both.
Value,
better amenities, meaning granite counters, nice.
Whatever it is more value. Whatever the hell you're gonna give them.
Whatever that is, when they walk in, they're gonna say, "Wow!" You're gonna give them that wow factor, right? And you got to bring it in at a lesser amount than everybody else in the market, so that you could be out of the property. But that means you got to buy it right, because you can't do that unless you buy it right.
DOM, y'all. Everybody, put it in the chat. This is gonna be crucial. And then I gotta leave out one more thing. I have so much to teach y'all. So as we get into 2025, things are gonna be going crazy. I'm gonna do a class on this next year. You can't look at the comps that are too old. Now, I know everybody looking at comps 6 months ago and 8 months ago. I'm like, look, dude, real estate is living and breathing. So these numbers are changing extremely quickly. So when you're making these offers, and then I can't stand it when a wholesaler says, "Here's the comps." I'm like, fuck, these comps are 10 months old. Why are you giving me,
I'll give you one better. A wholesaler send me. So I used to buy a lot of property from wholesalers. And in 2024, 2023, I didn't buy one property from a wholesaler.
Yeah.
Right?
It changes.
I used to take down 20, 30 properties from wholesalers a year.
Wow.
This is I'll tell you what I find, Kris. Tell me if you agree or disagree with me, man. I find that with wholesalers, there's so many people that started teaching how to wholesale because they put this into people's heads. You could be a real estate investor and use none of your own money. You don't have to have no money, none. Right? First and foremost, anybody that tells you that shit, run.
Okay.
Second, there's so many people teaching this as if it's easy to do. But what I find happening is that wholesalers are going to James Smith and says, "Hey, James Smith, I'm going to offer you $100,000, and we're going to sell this 1, 2, 3." But now, the next wholesaler calls up James Smith and says, "Listen, I'm going to give you 105." He'll have 5 or 6 wholesalers calling him up. By the time he's all said and done and under contract, he's at 150. Right? Now, James Smith, he's happy as a pig as shit. Now the wholesaler comes to me and says, "Hey, Dan, this property's worth $300,000. I'm going to sell it to you for $200,000, and all it needs is $10,000 in work." But now, and here's the comps. But it's like Kris said, he's giving me comps that are outdated. In this market, shit, comps more than 3 months old are outdated.
90 days.
Right?
Don't say
so
that. 90
now,
days.
I go and I do some research. I do simple stuff. I'll just go onto Zillow. I'm like, you're comparing this to property that hasn't sold in 180 days. Where's your comp? You're comparing this. Your other comparison is to a property that sold 8 months ago when the market was different. Your comps ain't any good.
No good.
I'm looking at the pictures. I'm like, just from you know how Kris was showing that on Zillow, he said, "Look at this roof. That roof has to be changed." We were talking about the counters, the shitty work done on the counter. Right? I look at the pictures. I'm like, this house needs a new roof, new windows, new doors, new flooring, new kitchen, new bathrooms, new landscaping, new capping, new siding. The 2 trees in the backyard have to be cut down because they're overhanging the top of the roof.
Can't get insurance anymore.
I says, I need $100,000. Where do you get 10 from? And then I come to find out the house, the most I could sell it for is $250. Why would I pay you $200? So this is, what's happening is you got a lot of wholesalers coming into the business that took these classes that don't know their ass from their elbow, and they feel like they're missing out. And who's losing? Who's losing? The person who's actually selling it, because now that wholesaler ain't closing on it.
Nope. I got one for you, Dan. I got a call the other day. I got a call the other day because we got a ton of ads on the internet, right? Let me tell you what wholesalers do. They go to Google. They type in "sell my house fast Hampton." They see me at the top, and they call in or they submit. They don't even know they're costing me like $500, right? I'm pissed. So I call them up, and the first thing they say, you know what they say? When they tell your favorite question you hate.
What do you mean when they call me?
When a wholesaler calls you and says, "Dan, what's your
criteria?" Yeah, I used to just hang up on them. Now what I do is I school them a little bit. I said, well, let me ask you.
Okay.
I said, how much did you pay to learn that bullshit line? How much did you pay the person who robbed you to learn that bullshit line?
What's your buy box?
Yeah,
I cannot stand it, dog.
I said, you calling me? You didn't do no research on me? You didn't do any research on me? Did you go to my website? Did you see how many deals I closed? Did you go to my Instagram account before you call me so that you know who you're talking to? Like, to me, that's sales 101.
Know who you're calling.
You want to know, you want to sell me something? You better take the time out to know who I am.
It's crazy, dude. I told her that I got a call Wednesday. I thought about you. I said, look, man, I'm going to do you a solid. Can I coach you? I said, don't ever ask another guy what his buy box is. Y'all, you got to stop saying that shit. I get so pissed. I got this from Dan, actually. I didn't even, I kept getting them. People calling. I'm like, why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? Is somebody teaching this stuff?
Oh, yeah. Think about it. How could they all be using the same terminology?
Like buy box. I buy everything. I mean, what are you talking? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Let's talk about spending stupid money on stupid things. Kris has a YouTube channel that if you watch his videos, it's probably about if you had to pay somebody for the information he's giving away for
shit.
It's a couple of $100,000.
Yeah, easy.
I do a free mentorship class every single Wednesday night. I got a video library with 118 free mentorship classes, right? All you got to do is show up. All you got to do is watch Kris's YouTube channel. Why are you paying a bunch of fools to teach you this shit? That's to teach you garbage, to teach you how to do this business the wrong way.
What's your buy box?
Right? I had one of my mentees calls me up and she wanted to do a one-on-one consultation. And I felt terrible for her.
Wow.
Because she was telling me how her credit card bill, and she had to reconsolidate her credit cards because one of them was $20,000.
Okay.
So I says, what'd you spend $20,000 on? She said, I bought a class. I said, what do you mean you bought a class? She said, I bought a class on how to do Airbnb arbitrage.
Oh, man. You're in trouble.
So I said, how'd that work out for you? She said, I did it for 2 years and I decided to get out. I wasn't making no money.
Stressful, man.
So I said, so you spent $20,000 for something you could have gotten for free? There is no, when people are advertising that Kris and I, we come on here for free every single Sunday night. This is the real deal. I don't understand how we don't have 300 people on here right now, Kris.
That's true.
Everybody on this platform right now, how many people we got watching, Kris?
About 65.
65 people. You're gonna be at Christmas dinner, Christmas Eve dinner, Christmas Day dinner. You're gonna be going to office parties. You're gonna be going to New Year's parties. Why are you not telling all your friends they should be watching Kris Haskins and Dan Borrero every Sunday night at 7:45?
That's a good point. Dan, real quick, Miami Property says, why does days on market matter? Did we cover that? We did, right?
We did, but you could go over it. I mean, maybe she wasn't on it when we did it.
He or she, you got to know how long it is taking for properties to sell where you're buying. Before it was taking me 2 weeks to sell a property. Now it's taking me 2 months, and you don't want to get in trouble with a property that's going to take you 8 months to sell. DOM. Buy box. Do not call a Dan Borrero. Please.
You don't want to call me and ask you what my criteria is. I had and this goes for any profession. One time I had So I had a realtor call me up.
Hit that like button, y'all.
This was right before the interest rates went up, and he says, "Hey, listen, you want to sell that property you got in Park Slope?" I said, "Not really." He goes, "Well, I got to buy it. He'll give you, he's willing to pay $5 million." I said, "I'm not interested." And he said, he goes to me, "Hey, listen," he goes, "when the rates go up, your property value is going down." So now I got annoyed because I already told him twice I wasn't interested. Now I got really annoyed. So I said whatever his name was, I said, "You must really suck at what you do. Your family must be starving. You must."
Why you say that, Dan? The guy's he's grinding, calling you back.
And he said, "Well, that's insulting. Why would you talk to him like that?" I said, "Because you must suck at what you do. You're calling me up, trying to convince me to sell something for $5 million. If I was going to make money on a $5 million commission sale, I would be doing my research before I call up Dan Borrero. For that matter, anybody else. I would have found out who Dan Borrero was. And what you would have found out was I own this property since 2000, actually 1999. And by the way, I only paid $235,000 for the building. I've got $600,000 with all the renovations into it. If I didn't sell it, you know how many times the market's dipped and gone back up in the same period of time?
You don't give a shit.
I didn't sell it then. What makes you think I'm going to sell it now?
Oh shit!
The worst thing you could do is try to scare me into selling it.
Dan, do you even think about values of your properties? Really, I don't even. I mean,
don't. What I'm looking at is cash flow at this point.
Yeah,
yes, they're going up in value, and that's going to be my equity when I retire. But right now, I'm looking at cash flow. Right, so he didn't do his research. If he had done his research and came at me differently, instead of trying to sell me fear, sell me on the idea of what else I could do with that money and how I could double that money.
Opportunity.
Then I say, you know what? I listen. If you want to sell me fear, that's what politicians do. I don't need that shit. I ain't getting scared of Trump or Biden. Why or Harris? Why the hell am I going to get scared of your bullshit?
Call in quickly, y'all. Anybody got one last question? Dan, days on market. We talked about interest rates. We talked about market time. How far you got to go back with your comps, and I want people just to understand home equity lines of credit. Don't be scared to walk in the bank and just tell them. Just tell them, I want a credit line increase. So Dan, when I borrowed $200 against my house, I just walked in there. I'm like, look, this is what I want. Can you do it?
And the thing is, if they don't want to give you the credit increase, then refinance the loan. Go to another bank.
Oh no, they don't want that.
Press 1.
They don't want that.
Press 2.
Hold on, let me see. We got this. Hold on, caller.
Dan, Chris, you always get me excited, man.
That's my job. That's what they pay me to do.
Seems that way, and I fall right into it every night.
Caller, you're on the line with Kris and Dan. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
It's your girl, Deborah Jackson. Hi, Kris. Hi, Dan. Merry Christmas.
Hey, Deborah, you in Jersey, right?
Yes. Yes.
What up?
Oh, first of all, I want to say to both of you, thank you for all that you do. About a ton of information and it's very helpful. I also wanted to say Merry Christmas to you and your families.
Thank you, Deborah.
I hope that you have a blessed Christmas. Yes, yes.
Thank you, Deborah. You too.
Dan, Dan, I will be on the class Wednesday. I know you're not going to have one this Wednesday, but you'll have one after.
What?
So
Dan ain't working on Christmas Day? You a slacker. You know, they tell everybody you work every day.
You know what, Chris? I would have it if I thought I would have an audience, but not everybody. Kris Haskins and I.
I know. Deborah, I'm giving a hard time.
I know. You know I'm going to get you, Chris. Don't be saying a hard time.
I know you're
Chris,
frozen.
You're gonna have me throw some scriptures at you. You better stop giving me a hard time. Stop.
Hey, I know you're frozen up there. It's got to be 10 degrees. It's 30 here. I mean, no, it's 25 here.
Chris, this morning I went out.
Listen, I'm not feeling a thing. I'm in the house. I got the fireplace going. I'm not feeling it.
Okay.
Well, the real field this morning, guys, I was out checking my properties, making sure my guys shoveled and threw down salt, making sure there's no ice in front of the properties. I was out this morning around 7:30. The real field was 2 degrees.
Oh, my God.
Ooh.
Wow.
It was light. He was biting this morning.
That's crazy.
Biting. All right. Thank you, Deborah. I appreciate it. And Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas. All right, we're gone.
Well, Merry Christmas. Take care. Dan, I do want to go over the property with you. I don't have all the numbers down. Maybe when we come back Wednesday, I can go over it with you.
Yeah, just go.
Is that okay?
Just schedule a time on the website. You know how to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Deborah.
And Kris, I got with you because I want to take the sub 2 course.
Yeah, 2025, man. You know the deal. I'm not even going. You got to know the strategy.
I know.
You have to know the strategy. It is a requirement.
Love you guys.
Love you too, Miss Deborah. Good talking to you.
All right. Have a happy New Year also.
Merry Christmas. All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Want to take one more call, Kris?
I don't see anybody. They say you too mean. I'm sending a message. They say Dan is mean as a. You scaring the people, Dan. They calling you up. You talking about wow? Don't you do? All
right, guys. I won't be mean tonight.
Y'all, Dan is really mean. Y'all getting the real. I'm telling y'all, this dude is a real prick. And I got mad love for you. But Dan is mean, man. You a mean SOB. You know why? Because Ron LeGrand told me, he goes, Kris, I'm too old, grumpy, and rich to deal with any of this. That's why that's what he told me. He's like, that's why I'm so mean. I'm just too rich.
You know what? I don't want to come across mean. I just don't.
You are.
I want people to understand. You know, when I walk in a room and I'm going to be talking to people that are more wealthier than I am, I take the time out to learn everything about that person that I want to speak to.
Oh, you daggone right. You daggone right.
I want to take the time out to learn everything I want to, so I'm not wasting that person's time, and so that maybe I could pique that person's interest. And I use this example in my mentorship class on Wednesday. You know, I remember when I was 18 years old, and I went to this club, right? So when I was 18, thank you, Darlene. So when I was 18, I use this example again Wednesday at my mentorship class. When I was 18, I you know what? Thinking back, my whole life has been a training camp to where we get to where I am today. So when I was 18, I go to this club, right? I'll never forget my friend Mingo, right? And you know, there's this really hot girl, bro. She's at the bar. All these guys, they buying her drinks on, and I'm talking about some guys with something like fancy jewelry and older guys that look like they got their shit together. You know, I'm just a kid. I'm 18 years old. You know, I back then, believe it or not, my waistline was like 24 inches. You know, I was skinny. I had a lot of hair. I was skinny. So, but I'm dreaming about this girl. I just seen her, right? And I can't get my eyes off of her all night. So she's getting so many drinks from these guys that she's giving it to her girlfriends, right?
Oh, snap.
So I said, you know what, man? I'm gonna go to the bar and I'm gonna stand next to her. I gotta wait for my opportunity. Mingo's like, what are you gonna tell her? I said, I don't know yet. He goes, you don't know yet? I said, man, I'll think of it when as I go along. So I said, you want a beer, right? He says, yeah. So I get him a Heineken. I get my Heineken, and I tell the bartender, bring me a glass of water. So he brings me a glass of water, and I give her the glass of water. She looks at me. She says, what's this? She said, everybody else is trying to get you drunk so they get you home with them. I said, I'm just trying to sober you up because I want to have a conversation with you.
Oh, snap. Then
you know that woman was my girlfriend for a whole year after that?
What?
All because I gave her a glass of water.
That's crazy.
Right? So the point is that I forgot someone called me about my say they were there. I didn't even respond. No, thank you, Deborah. So the point is, I took the time out. I didn't know that's what I was doing, but I was watching for my opportunity. I was watching how to distinguish myself. I was watching to see what everyone else was doing so I wouldn't do the same.
You got to shoot your shot, man.
Right? So, again, when you at the line, you're talking, Deborah's talking back in the days, the Palladium, the Limelight, that's right, the Inferno. Deborah's talking back in the days. So, Darlene, rather. So again, guys, you want to grab somebody's attention, be different.
That's right.
Study that person before they walk in there.
All
Before you
right.
walk in there, study the person you want to talk to so that you could be different.
Merry Christmas, y'all. It is an honor to talk with you. Look at as we conclude, y'all look at the mirror, right? I want you to just ask yourself, what do you want out of your life? I have to do the same for myself because it's not money, right? If it was more money, then Dan and I wouldn't be effective. We obviously we want to make money, but we have to look at ourselves. It's never enough. We have to figure out how do you. Even when I met Dan, Dan had made plenty of money, right? But now he's able to have impact on the community, right? So I don't know what it is to float your boat. Dan and I do this because we want to impact you and impact our culture to help raise our financial literacy. But you have to ask yourself, what is it that I want out of my life? Besides once you make the money, it's going to come. If you do the right steps, the money will come. Dan, what would you say?
I can't stress enough what Kris said, man. It's I feel like I missed out a lot in my life because I had blinders on. I'm just making money. I wouldn't even celebrate my wins.
It's
Now I
terrible, isn't it,
celebrate my
dog?
wins, but when I celebrate them, I celebrate them with the people that matter, which is my family, right?
Something, man.
Look, people ask you, how am I going to spend how am I going to spend Christmas Eve? Going to church. I'm going to come home. I'm going to have a great dinner with I'm going to have all
Family.
my kids at home.
Family, yeah.
And we're going to enjoy the night. And what are we going to do Christmas Day? We're going to do the same thing. All my kids are sleeping over my house. So
Wow.
and I want people to know my kids are all adults. I have no little kids anymore. So
You got grandkids out there?
not yet, no. So the thing is this, I want people to understand this. I could be the richest person in the world. But if my kids didn't want to come home and spend time with my wife and I, they come home for dinner on Sundays.
That's cool.
All that money means absolutely nothing if your own kids don't want to spend time with you.
Yeah, that's something.
Right. So,
Something, Dan.
that's the point I'm trying to get across with, the message today is, money's great, but don't let it consume your life where it alienates the very same people that you want to make it for.
Well, Dan, we both do consultations, and I get a spirit from people, right? I'm not where I want to be. Nobody is, including me and Dan.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be more, and everybody wants all this. And I don't want it to eat us up as a culture. Everybody's on this grind culture. I don't have enough. I need to have this. I need to be there. I need to be certain things. And I hear it a lot. I mean, you do consultations, Dan. You coach people. I'm sure you hear the same. It's got to be the same stuff.
The thing I find, the consultations I've been doing the last 30 days, what I find the most common denominator of the problem I find is that people have a want, which is a goal. They all have a goal, but they don't have a plan on how to achieve that goal.
Yeah.
Right. So what I've been trying to tell people is, and we've done several mentorship classes on this and so if you guys are interested in that, you can go to my video library back and see them. You have to develop a plan. And I've always been developing plans, but I got much better at it after I went to the 2019 Vault conference. That was one of the subject matters he spoke about.
Mm-hmm.
And he outlined. So my planning abilities have gotten better, which I've shared on my mentorship class. Just go to danielborrerojr.com. You can sign up there. It's free. So this is what I want to leave everyone off with. You know what? Let me just get this. There's a saying. My wife bought me this. She went somewhere and she said I had to buy this.
What is it?
I'm going to read it to you right here. And I have it on my desk. As soon as you come in my office, this is what you see on top of my desk. It says, there is nothing like a dream to create the future. Right. Mm. And this was written by Victor Hugo. The book was the Bishop's Candlesticks. And when she said that I thought of you immediately. Now, my wife and I have been dating since I was 18 years old. And I had a dream. I didn't know how I was going to achieve that dream because I didn't have the resources to achieve it with. Supposedly, that's what everyone told me. But this is the point. I realized when I was about 30 that my biggest mistake was I had a dream, I had a goal, but I didn't have a plan. So I then decided I'm going to make myself this is my goal, but I had to develop different goals through the course of 10 years to reach this step. So, okay, what was I going to do to reach one? That was my goal. And then year one, what was I going to do to reach year 3, year 5, year 7, then year 10? And every 10 years, I create another goal. And every 10 years, I have a plan. But every year, I have to reorganize that plan because things change that we can't control. Interest rates, if someone gets sick, if my parents get old, more time for us, kids, whatever that is, right? So, develop a plan, guys. You have a goal, but it's nothing but a dream. If you want to that dream, develop a plan.
Well, Dan, I'm starting to focus on, we could get out of here. The goal is to focus on the plan. Like, forget long-term stuff, like my plan, the work. Like, let's focus. The goal, I'm thinking like my plan now is to look at this many houses, how many get leads, hire this person, raise this money. That is kind of like I'm changing my life.
That's a phenomenal idea because you just reversed it. My goal
is the work.
Say it again, because I don't think the audience truly understands what you just said, the impact that it truly made. Even on me. Say it again, Kris.
Well, here's the thing. Before I was thinking about I want to own 5 houses. All right, then I work backwards, right? All that mess. I'm like, that shit didn't work for me. So now, like if I want to just do one house, I'm focusing on, all right, I need to get 20 leads in, right? And so let me forget about what the 20 leads will bring. I need to just figure out my goal is right now 20 leads. And if I get 20 leads in a day, I got a house. But usually it takes time, right? So I'm like, how fast can I get this work in? So to get the house, forget, like I'm done. No more long term. I'm like,
So it's the same thing, Kris. You just do, but your mindset was different, right? So this is the goal, 10-year goal. What's Kris doing year 1? He's getting his leads so he can reach this step. What's he doing year 2? So he can reach this step. What's he doing? So it's still the same thing, but the mindset is different. And I got to tell you, Kris, I think I'm going to approach it from that direction.
That's a beast. I got that one for Hermosi, man. Alex Hermosi. I got a class with him. He broke it down. It's like, forget about your goal is work. Like, all right, let's define work. Even Patrick Bet-David, like, what is work? You don't even know how to work. All right. Merry Christmas, y'all. We gone. Anything else, Dan?
Man, I'm good. I want to thank the audience. I wish you all happy holiday. Now I said the political right way to say it. Now I'm going to say the unpolitical right way.
Merry
Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas. I don't care.
You can say Merry Christmas. It's our channel, Dan. It's our show. We get to say what we want to say.
Well, go back to that last one, Kris.
Wealth and wellness. Goal setting is important. Also putting timelines. That's right. Timeline.
Loving it. All right, guys. Remember, you're going to all be around a lot of people this Christmas. You want to give somebody a gift? Give them the gift of knowledge for free. Yeah. Have them join us every single Sunday night.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. If you're watching this at a later time, the email is in the video description below if you want to send a message to book a consultation. Peace.
Good night, everyone.